To make great parts like these, you need a great CAD/CAM system. We talked to Steve at HSM Components to find out how he found a cost-effective solution. We're at HSM Components in D-side. Steve, you've recently got a hyperMILL. Most people believe that hyperMILL is just for big shops with lots of capital to spend. You are, if you don't mind me saying, a one-man band. Yeah. Fantastic one-man band at that. But you're a one-man band, you've got 4 CNCs. How did you possibly acquire hyperMILL?
Well, I did it on finance through Open Mind themselves. And because I don't have 5-axis capabilities, they can give you what you need, they give you the modules that you need. So it was cheaper for me to buy. And the purchase price really was on a par with other systems out there. And I'd reached pretty much the limits with the old software, so I needed to get something more advanced. And it seemed a good choice, really. It was ideal.
So were they quite flexible when you came to them and said, look, I don't want the 5-axis, were they flexible in their options?
Yeah, they said, oh, it's not a problem, we can take all of that out and give you what you need, which was ideal, really, for me.
I remember you mentioning actually with your older system there was a lot of frustration that you couldn't quite do exactly what you wanted to do. Do you find that the interface, the functionality is a lot more advanced in that you can do what you need to?
Yeah, exactly. It's in comparison, it's like comparing a Ferrari to a push bike, really.
Yeah, well, okay, fair enough. So what frustrations were you having before that are now solved?
Well, the old software, it was more geometry based. So if you were doing something complex, it became an exercise in CAD, really, in creating geometry, whereas now hyperMILL, it's working off surfaces and surface edges, so it's all model based, and there's a lot more functionality to it. So even though I found it at first a lot harder to use because it's more advanced, as I've got to grips with it more, you know, the possibilities now it's opened up for me, it's incredible, really.
Brilliant. So you've got over that hump of being able to use quite an advanced piece of software, but now you've actually seen massive benefits from. What part are we making right now?
Well, this is an engine block off a motorbike engine, and this is for a customer that I make quite a few parts for at the moment. And he asked me to look at this because he was having issues with quality and delivery times from his previous manufacturer.
So how's hyperMILL helped you produce that for the customer then?
The biggest thing is the CAD system that it comes in, which is HyperCAD S. When you come to do offline programming, not everything's straightforward, and very often you've got to do quite a bit of CAD work, creating surfaces, containment boundaries and whatever. And in hyperMILL, with the HyperCAD S software, it's quite easy because it's got very good surfacing tools. I find it to be very useful for that. And I wouldn't have been able to take this part on with the old software. I know I wouldn't. It's helped immensely.
Brilliant. So what was when you first got hyperMILL and you started using it, what was the experience like?
Tough at first because I'm having to use a new system. I'm having to learn, and there's that much to it. You know, it takes time. You've got to spend time on the software. You can't just go and do the basic training course and then come back to the workshop and be CAD/CAM Superman, you know.
Yeah, so that's what you tried to do. You were working on your older parts that were programmed in. You had programs in the older software, and you were converting them all to using hyperMILL. Yeah. What happened? What was the difference between the hyperMILL programs and the older programs?
I noticed a big reduction in cycle times straight away, and the finish is better as well. I'm not cutting as much fresh air in certain parts. It's just better all round, which you'd expect really from a more advanced system. So it hit the mark really and gave me what I needed.
Well, if you need a CAD/CAM system but you think it might be too expensive, look at Steve, he's a CAD/CAM Superman, but he's only running 2 mills, you can too.